Jim Mazany. I'm the CEO of SPB Hospitality Restaurant Group, and we are in the process of moving our support centers from the Nashville market and the Denver market to Houston, Texas.
And what was attractive about consolidating everything in Houston?
Well, the company itself, we're poised for growth. We're in the process of opening new restaurants. We've actually are coming out of the pandemic in very strong shape. The organization is primed to grow, and we wanted to centralize our support center in one area. So we've chosen Houston, Texas, as the location to grow. Our Logan's Roadhouse is actually, is modeled after a Texas style roadhouse. So the idea behind bringing the Roadhouse back to Texas was a very attractive idea for us. We have over 25 restaurants in this market, in the Texas state, I should say, with Logan. So it's a natural fit for us to come to Houston and come to Texas to grow this company.
What are you excited about personally with the move, and when do you expect it to be completed?
Well, I made the move to Houston myself personally back in 2014 or 2013 when I was working with another restaurant brand. We have my wife and family, we've made Houston and Texas our home since then, and it's exciting to be able to grow a company here in the community and be able to create positions and opportunities for folks, and that's really exciting to see. And I'm really excited about the growth and the turnaround of this company. I mean, coming here. When we started in September to be in this strength of position and a strong balance sheet and looking into the future to make investments and grow, I think is a testament to the folks that are part of the SPB company, the great work that's been done over the last year.
And are you planning for to finish the opening at any point, or is it something that's always going to be ongoing?
No, well, so the opening at the support center will be completed probably, but we will have that finished by mid-August. So there's some work that's going to be happening. We'll have a grand opening celebration here at the office. We've invited a couple of executives to come in from all over the country. This week is actually our very first week on the campus, so that's exciting. We look forward to being able to be fully open by mid-August. So we're right now in the process of interviewing for all positions here at the center. So positions from IT to marketing, finance. We're looking for all positions. So look for us on Indeed and LinkedIn for some of those positions that are out there for us.
You mentioned back in the early 90s. How did you get your start in the business, and how do you see this period being comparable?
So I started in the industry right out of school, and this was my first job. That was a summer job that was only supposed to be for 3 or 4 months, and that summer has never ended. I was actually going to be an attorney, and so the restaurant bug has bitten me, back in the 80s. I hate to admit my age, but late 80s. And I started in the restaurant industry, a casual dining restaurant brand. I started with TGI Fridays. And I spent over 20 years with TGI Fridays, growing Fridays from probably, it was 75 restaurants back then in the mid 80s to leaving them when they were close to 1,000 and growing the whole Northeast. That was the area that I worked in as a director and vice president. So when I think of those days, we were opening restaurants every week. It was just a great time to be in the restaurant industry. A lot of fun, a lot of excitement, a lot of positive energy.
You came out under the ownership of Fortress Investments during the pandemic?
We came out under the ownership of Fortress Investments. Fortress Investments has owned us since June of last year. They're very bullish and excited of the opportunity behind the SPB brand and the SPB company, and we're excited about what our future holds for us. We're in the process of not only building restaurants from within our current portfolio, but we're also in the process of looking to acquire and buy additional brands as well. So it's exciting times for us here at SPB.
And you mentioned the old Chicago that had just reopened to such great sales. Had that been just temporarily closed because of the pandemic?
Well, it was closed during it had closed during the pandemic and during the previous transaction of the company. And it was a restaurant that was not moved forward into the new co of SPB. We went back and um, negotiated to bring that restaurant back open again into the portfolio. And so it's really a new growth for us, and we're excited for that.
Excellent. Congratulations. Do you expect other deals like that going forward, or kind of where do you expect most of the growth to come from?
We actually expect the growth to come a couple of different ways. We do expect new ground up restaurants that we will build. We also will build within our specialty portfolio, which is our Chop House restaurant brand. We'll also look for special venues and interesting ways in which to bring restaurants to life.
After that deal in fall of last year?
I started with them in September of last year, right about probably 3 months after the company had started. I was with TGI Fridays before that, and I was part of the team that brought reopened these restaurants and got the company established as a new co-entity kind of going forward. And we've had some great success. And we really would not be in this position as we are today without the great success that we've seen in the Logan's restaurant group. Logan's currently is performing at a double-digit increase to 2019's performance. The restaurant brand Logan's is on track for over $3 million AUV this year, which is substantially up from where it was previous. Our profitability within the Logan's business and menu offerings and guest satisfaction has ever been at a higher level. So we're really bullish on the Logan's business, and then we plan to open probably about 10 Logans or so within the next couple of years on our long range plan. And then our old Chicago restaurant group has done really well as well, and we've just opened or reopened the restaurant in Waco, Texas, and just completed our very first week, doing over $80,000 in sales in the first week. So we're really excited with that. And again, the old Chicago business for us is again double-digit increases over 2019's performance. So the entire company is seeing that positive renaissance that we're seeing within the casual dining sector. And our Logan's businesses really have been an industry leader from a sales point of view.
Do you think the pandemic has changed the consumer in any way?
I think it has changed the consumer. I think that when you think about being in your home for as long as you've been, and you think about a year of being away from friends and all of the social occasions and all the things that you miss most, and the places that you really enjoyed spending time with family and friends. I think that people have really reflected upon that, and I think that we have seen the people coming back out and great spirits and just looking forward to having a good time and creating those positive memories. And I do believe it's sustainable because our brands are very specific. Our name SPB stands for steak, pizza, beer. We're very much experts at those particular disciplines. So we do really a great job with steak, a really great job with pizza, and we have a brewery division where we're brewing and making our own beer. The guests love us in that division as well. So we are a company that stands for something specific and very craveable foods and craveable product offerings. And I think to talk about a couple of really successful virtual brands that have done very well through the pandemic that we operate in our restaurants out of Logan's or Old Chicago or Rock Bottom. Those virtual restaurants have been really successful for us. Twisted Tenders is one of them. Our Roadies concept is another one. And then our most recent Embered Smoked Barbecue is probably our hottest by far sales performance in our virtual space. So we anticipate to take some of those virtual restaurants from virtual to brick and mortar in the near future. And we will open up some outlets that are actually will spawn from our innovation tank into a brick and mortar restaurant within probably the next 6 months or so.
What do you expect for virtual brands in the long run?
We've had continued strength and growth. I mean, in all of our third-party to-go sector, as well as our virtual brands, continue to grow even as dining rooms have reopened. Just looking at sales for yesterday being Father's Day, our virtual brand Embered Smoke was our busiest day of all time. So we're noticing that guests are looking for those unique kind of dining experiences or cuisine experiences. And the barbecue segment for us is one that we've had great success with.
Are you allowing those three virtual brands to be non-secular, grow across any of the concepts, or do you keep them concept specific?
No, we actually use each one of our restaurant outlets, our restaurant kitchens, and we look at the capacity that our kitchens are performing to. And if there's a need for that cuisine in the specific area, we will, look to see if we can use one of our virtual restaurants into that restaurant itself. We really have been, we've designed these restaurant brands to be very portable so that we could use them across the entire portfolio and use any one of our 250 outlets that we have, 250 restaurants, to have multiple virtual restaurants be accessed through their kitchens and through their guests.
What are you most excited about with the move to consolidating everything in Houston?
Well, I think it's coming, our industry going through the last year or so, with the pandemic and the opportunity for us to be offering, creating 100 new positions in the Houston market for all different restaurant professionals, I think is a really exciting thing to be able to do. When I think of how hard this has been and how hard it's hit the industry through the pandemic, the opportunity for us to be growing and to be talking about growth coming out of this, I think is a refreshing thought based upon everything that, that the pandemic brought us. So I think it's exciting time for us here at SPB. And it's also, from a macro point of view within the industry, it's good to see restaurant brands growing again. And it's good to see people coming back and getting out into dining rooms and visiting restaurants. And we have seen great growth on both Mother's Day and Father's Day, the special occasions where people are coming back to restaurants and having experiences. So it's good to know that our industry is thriving and healthy and with a bright future ahead.
And last question for you, what do you see as the future of casual dining in this vaccine era?
Well, we have found that the consumer has had definitely a pent-up demand. We found that the consumer misses their favorite restaurants, their places where they've had great memories. We've been very fortunate to be rewarded with those experiences with those guests coming out. It feels for us to be like a new renaissance, and it's very reminiscent to me of the 90s, the early 90s in the restaurant industry when, you just had great sales growth and success in running, restaurants and profitability and performance. And it was some really good times to be a restaurant operator. So we're experiencing that across the country. With all of our brands, and we look to continue to do that. We've come through, like I said, the pandemic with a strengthened balance sheet, a new business model that we've been very successful with, and we're looking forward to continue to grow this company and to grow all of our restaurant brands.